Welcome to the MacArthur Experience, another edition of Cowboy Boys podcast. Solo Mac hosting, me only me. Again, if my voice sounds a little rougher, if my voice sounds a little, it's because one of my roommates got me sick. And apologies to everyone who listened to the Patreon a few days ago, where I was just blowing my nose and sniffling and just snotting everywhere, and it was a real mess. But I had to work through it. And then the past 2 days, it's funny because it started as like a sinus thing, and it was really snotty, and then the next day was my throat, and now today my tummy kind of hurts, but I'm being very brave about it because that's just the kind of guy I am. I got a cold. Before all you people think I got something else, I didn't get anything else. I have a common cold. I think that's what. Yeah, when you're really snotty. Because flu is like, you get a fever. The other thing I can't name because I'll get demonetized. Within if I yeah, it wasn't that, because I've had that before, or maybe it was. I don't know. You can get it so many times now, but I'm feeling a lot better. My throat is just a little. It probably sounds sexier, honestly. I've gotten a lot of. There's two things random women have reached out to me online about, because if you're a tall guy, women are like, "Oh, you're so tall," like, thank you, whatever. If you got like a thing, there's two things that have always stood out that women have always mentioned to me, which I'm like, I guess I sure, if you're into that. One is, women have told me before that I have a very soothing voice, and it's probably not for everyone. It's probably only women who I'm compatible with, honestly. So if you think my voice is annoying, do not DM me. Don't even message me. Unless you're into that. Unless you're like, "Oh, I hate your voice so much, it turns me on." Some people are freaks, which I completely understand. But yeah, I've had a numerous, not more than like a dozen, but not less than three. Numerous women message me and be like, "Your voice is the best voice I've ever heard." And sometimes they'll send me stuff to read. You gotta give me some money. I ain't let you get off for free. I'll read whatever you want. I don't know. Do you think I have a voice for erotica? Is that what's if I look up erotica right now? Erotica, because that's like a lady thing, right? Maybe. Oh, I'll just read the Wikipedia page for erotica. Let's see if that turns you on. Oh my god, there's some lady with her tits out on Wikipedia from 1910. Damn, Wikipedia tits. That's almost as good as YouTube tits. I guess erotica is just like, let's see, I'm going to read this in my sexy voice. Erotica is the literature or art that deals substantially with subject matter that is erotic, sexually stimulating, or sexually arousing. Some critics regard pornography as a type of erotica, but many consider it to be different. Erotic art may use any artistic form of depict erotic content, including painting, sculpture, drama, film, or music. Erotic literature and erotic photography have become genres in their own right. Erotica also exists in a number of subgenres, including gay, lesbian, women, bondage, monster, and tentacle erotica. Oh, well, I gotta click that link now. Tentacle erotica, or shokutsu goikan. Shokutsu shu goikan, tentacle violation, or I can't say that word or I'll get demonetized on YouTube. Or tentacle R is a type of pornography most commonly found in Japan, which integrates traditional man, what the hell's going on over there? They're messing with squids. Where does that come from? I don't know. Sorry, I hope that turned you on for a little bit. But me giving you, there's probably some librarian lady who's like, "Ooh, yeah, talk, tell me about the Dewey Decimal System." Why are librarians so hot? I guess it's that thing when you're a little boy. And do kids go to the library anymore? I guess they do. Playing Roblox on the library computer. Do kids read comics? That's what I would go to the library to read. There was one section in the library because when I was a kid, my mom would take me to the library, and I'm like, what was she doing there? She doesn't know how to read. But I don't know. Yeah, I would go there for like an hour, and I would go back to the comic book section where they had the Far Side, Foxtrot, Calvin and Hobbes, Garfield, and I would just read comics as a kid. And I remember reading maybe 30 books of Garfield and never laughing once. That's how much I liked comics as a kid. And I'm like, man, this stinks. Garfield is not funny. And I remember reading Farside and being like, oh, something's changed. And Calvin and Hobbes is just that's this really it's almost art. It's not always funny, but it's really highbrow, I would say. But the other thing that ladies will always comment on are my big balls. They'll be like, hey, I love your voice and I love your big balls when they see them. They're not commenting. They're not that big that people comment through my pants. Usually which is not like, it doesn't hurt my feelings, but when you whip out your genitals for the first time, you don't want, maybe it does hurt my feelings. But I'm tough. I'll tough it. I'm like, hey, you hurt my feelings, but we're still doing this. Ooh, you hurt my feelings. Now I'm turned on in a different way. But they always be like, your balls they're kind of big. And I'm like, is that because my penis is small or are my balls? And they're like, no, your penis is perfect. And I hate getting that. When a woman tells you your penis is perfect, it's not good. Not a good. It could be worse. She could be like, "Oh, I like the smaller one." Like that. There's only one good thing. Perfect is eh. Big is yes. That's what sounds good. So I mean, I guess the worst thing would be if a woman is like, "Oh, your balls are so perfect." You're like, "What? What do you mean my balls are perfect?" So maybe I do feel good. Maybe I kind of do feel a sense of pride when they're like, "Oh my god, your balls are so big." Oh. Anyways, that's the thing. Sorry. So again, I apologize for my voice. It's a little scraggly. I apologize for my balls right now. I haven't been seeing anyone. I've just been hitting the gym a lot. So they're also scraggly. I haven't just. Don't go down there. I don't like going down there. I'm like, oh no, it's a mess. But I'm working on it. Dude, that's the worst part about getting sick when you're going to the gym. When you got a good gym streak going, you feel like nothing can derail you. And then you get sick and you're like, I just lost 8 months of progress. I might as well just get fat again, even though I'm still fat. I mean, there should be a exclusive, because I can't go to the gym because then I'm going to get other people sick. I'm going to be sniffling, getting snot everywhere. There should be a special room. You know how they have like the ladies only room? There should be a special room at the gym for people who are sick and being like, hey, I just need to do 30 minutes, throw some weight around, or else I'll lose the momentum. I don't want to be here. I don't want to get anyone else sick. That's the sick room. Nobody go in there, but I need that. It's just, I just got to go to keep it up. Like, I think everyone would understand. Right? Maybe that's a stupid idea. Makes sense to me. But I'm I thought today would be the day. Today would be the day where I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go. I'm all healed. Nah, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow's the day where I'm going to wake up 100% refreshed. And you better watch out tomorrow. Oh my God. What did I see today? I went and did my laundry early tomorrow, and while I was doing my laundry, I saw a beautiful woman. And would you know, it's a sunny, nice day. And she was shooting heroin. I was like, oh, okay. So you just started. You're brand, unless she's been like really good at it. She's one of those has her life together heroin users. And I'm really like, oh, I need to move. I need to move out of this neighborhood because I'm starting to see people. Let's see, I think I could think of 3 or 4 different streets where I've seen people shooting up, which is like, oh man, you're going to do, that's a crazy one to get into. I feel like there should be more flop houses around here. Shooting up outside is crazy. I mean, you know what? Maybe it's not crazy. Maybe it's a beautiful day. She's like, why would I do heroin inside? It's a wonderful day outside. Oh, now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I want to go hike out to the Grand Canyon, shoot up, enjoy the splendor of everything God has given us. So I'll go see the Statue of Liberty, shoot up on the way, on the ferry ride out. Just really enjoy my day. Get fucking zooted. Losing my I don't know. Yeah, good for her for doing it in the middle of it. You don't want to do that at night. It's almost a waste. Another thing, so I don't have a job. This is my job. I'm working right now. But whenever I'm walking around from like the 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the middle of the day doing whatever I'm doing, I see so many other people. And I'm always like, some of them are shooting heroin. Some of them are, a lot of them are walking dogs. Not walking, I don't know. But there's so many people, and I'm just like, we all can't not have jobs. You all are not podcasters. What do you do? What are you doing? Why are you not at work right now? Normal people are at work. How come you're not at work? I should be like, I don't know. It feels like I should be bumping into less people. But they're out there. There's tons of people. Just wandering around. Man, I don't know. Feels like there's maybe I should go interview. Maybe I should start interviewing, street interview. I'm like, hey, why are you at work right now? What's your deal? What is up? Why are you not contributing to society right now? You leech. I'm allowed to say that. I've chosen this path. Yes, I got my laundry done. I saw that lady, that cute lady. Shout out to her. I mean, I'm on a cocktail of my own drugs right now. Some NyQuil, some ibuprofen, some Mucinex. Ooh. I mean, we all got to do what we got to do to get through the day. What drugs are you currently on right now? You have a Red Bull and coffee this morning. Some of you probably had an Irish Red Bull. Maybe mix a little whiskey into your Red Bull just to get through that morning meeting. I completely understand. I used to have a coworker. He was one of my favorite coworkers. He would go out like every 30 minutes, hour, and smoke weed and just be blitzed all day, every day, and then come and operate heavy machines. He was a great worker. But he was always just tinkering with stuff. Real kind of meth vibes, but it was just maybe he was smoking weed with meth. Maybe that's why he was such a good worker. I don't think I've told you guys about the story of me accidentally smoking meth. I'm pretty sure my first time. Maybe I have. I haven't told it in a while. I was thinking about that the other day. This is gonna be a hard drug podcast. Um, back when I was, let's see, I think I would be 20 or 21. Um, this is in Salt Lake City, Utah. I was dating this non-denominational Christian girl, and I'm 20. She's probably 20-ish, right around my age. And she's non-denominational Christian, so she had good parents. I'm not Mormon anymore, and I think she was trying to convert me to. She didn't like white Mormon Jesus. She wanted non-denominational Jesus, and she got really bummed when I started asking her questions, because I was in that phase of my life where I started asking all these religious questions. And so that's why I stopped being Mormon, because I was, well, this doesn't make sense. Well, I'm asking them myself. So then I started dating her, and then she would always get bummed out when I would ask her questions. And it wasn't like I wasn't trying to be like, hey, it's fake. I'm just like, hey, do you ever think about this? Her mom, beautiful lady, told her, she's like, I like Mac. I don't like Mac for you. And then we broke up. But very, very nice compliment. If you got to fire an employee, if you got to break up with someone, you got to be like, hey, my mom says she loves you, but she doesn't love you for me. I need to find a boring religious guy. Fine by me. Great, whatever. But anyways, I was dating this lady, and we both got in the idea, like, let's have you ever smoked weed? I'm like, I've never smoked weed. I'm 20. I don't know how to smoke weed. I didn't have any friends because I grew up Mormon, so all my friends were Mormon. They're all squares. And I hadn't started stand up even remotely yet, so I didn't know any reprobates. And I remember it's funny when you're a guy and you're so motivated, like I think this was my second girlfriend. You're so motivated to like just do whatever you want for your girl. Your first, no, it's kind of like having kids. Your first kid, you're like, we got to do everything right. We got to get them in all the right private school. We got to set them off straight. The second kid, you're like, all right, we didn't kind of. By the third or fourth kid, you're like, whatever. I know how to do this. We'll just wait. Maybe it's kind of the same with relationships. You're like, I know what's important, and I'm going to be lazy in these other areas, but. This is my second girlfriend. I'm like, I'm going to do so she's like, I want to smoke weed. And so I'm like, I'm going to figure out from scratch, from 0 point, how do you get weed? And this is back in let's see, I was 20. So when I was 20, how do I do the math? How old am I now? 20, I think it was 2010-ish, 2011. Is that right? What year is it? Yeah, I think it was either 2009 or 2010 or 2011. So weed in Utah still very illegal. Still like fun. Like I don't know. I hear they got weed over here. You got to know someone. You got to talk to someone. You can't just get a medical card and then go buy it, which was kind of the fun of it. And so I remember being like, how do I get weed? And I don't know how, because I think at the time she was house sitting. So we were going to have this house to ourselves. She was dog sitting. And we're going to have this house to ourselves for like the weekend. It was like a nice house. And it's just me and her, two young lovers, unsupervised. So I'm like, I gotta get the weed. We're gonna fucking party. And so I'm like, I don't know where to go. I went downtown, and started walking around, and I wandered over to the homeless shelter. And I'm wandering around the homeless shelter, kind of just like, because in Salt Lake City, there's a homeless shelter, and there's usually like just hundreds of people kind of standing around just waiting for it because it opens at night. So they can sleep in it. And you can't sleep in it if you got drugs or if you're drunk or whatever. So they gotta like screen you. And I think they serve food there. I don't remember. I don't know how it works, but I'm like just kind of like looking at people, being like, no, you're far too far gone. And I remember catching this guy's eye, and he immediately walks right up to me, and he's like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, he like was just he was if I remember, like he kind of looked. It was a black gentleman who like kind of he had like the it wasn't dirty, but his clothes were like he was wearing like 3 or 4 jackets. He did like have like the fingerless gloves. Like it almost was like if you had to draw like a cartoon homeless man. Like it was just a homeless guy. He played the part. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he was maybe he was like a normal drug dealer, and he just was hanging around there. But it was this black guy who came up to me. He's like, "Hey, what do you want?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm trying to buy." I'm freshly not Mormon. I'm like, "I'm trying to buy weed," and he's like, "How much you got?" And then I'm like, "I got $20." I just handed him like, "I got $20." I pulled it out. That's how much of a noob, a neophyte, a young dummy I was. I just pulled $20 out of my pocket. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'll take it." And he takes it, and he's like, "I'll be back in 5 minutes." And I'm like, and he would just runs off with my $20. And so I'm kind of just standing there, and I'm like, because he scurried away fast. He's like with purpose. So I'm just standing there. I'm like, oh, I guess I just got ripped off. I didn't know. Like I didn't know. This is the first time buying weed. I don't know the protocols. I don't know the terminology. It used to be fun buying weed because every now and then you would bump into a guy who was like really paranoid, and you'd have to like use code words. I'm trying to buy a stick of the green special sauce. Like it was so. I remember texting a guy, hey, I want to buy weed, and he's like, "Don't say that. Don't." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Now it's like everyone just. I think you could buy weed openly in front of cops now. It's not fun anymore. It's not. There's no adventure. There's no figuring it out. There's no secret codes. Man, weed sucks now. So, anyways, this homeless guy disappears. I'm there kicking rocks, hand in my pocket, being like, damn, I just got ripped off. I guess my girlfriend and I are going to have normal sober sex tonight. Oh, pfft. And like 10 minutes later, he comes running up and he's like, hey, I got you your weed. I'm like, what the hell? Oh my God. And he puts in my hand, I think it's a dime bag is the term. It's like the tiniest little Coke bag of Mexican dirt weed. It's literally brown dirt, no green in it, just weed. And I was like, oh, nice. He did it. And he runs off. He probably bought that weed for $3 or $4 or $5. That little baggie, and pocketed $15, and then went and bought some real drugs with his 20. Dude, I'm so happy for that exchange. It couldn't have gone any better. That's how you got to get ripped off in your youth. You need to absolutely like you need to get scammed in your youth, so then you don't get scammed when you're old. Old people nowadays, when they're like, I'm talking like elderly people, like your grandma getting scammed by some Nigerian guy. I don't even know. Are they still scamming, or is it, I think the Indian guys are they're like locking your computer and asking for, they what do they install like a rat on your PC, and then they make you call in and you got to do customer service to unlock the thing you got to buy gift cards or Bitcoin or whatever. Is that the scam? I don't know. It's so hard to get scammed. I've never been scammed online, but Um, yeah, you got to get scammed when you're young, because if you get scammed when you're old, that's so embarrassing. When you're young, you have an excuse. Hey, I'm 20 years old. I've only been here 2 decades. I've only been alive for 2 decades, and I've only had consciousness for the past 5 years. I didn't know that this was a scam. When old people get scammed, they have no excuse. You've been alive for 60, 80 years. What do you mean you're giving money to some guy who sent you photos? It's usually a lady. A lady will send you photos. Be like, that's my girlfriend. She lives in Chad. You're like, what? This strange woman, quote unquote, says she wants to fly out to meet you, but you need to send her $1,200 to buy a plane ticket. All right, nice. Yeah, whatever. Hope she's real. But yeah, I'm gonna say it right now. I have no sympathy for old people getting scammed. That's just a wealth transfer from the elderly to young people who are going to do fun things with it. You should be scamming old people. They had their chance. They had all their fun. If you don't scam old people, it's just going to be some company that signs them up for a timeshare, or they're going to waste all their money fighting a hospital, or not fighting, but like spending on a hospital bills. You should be scamming old people, but also you should be smart enough. You should accrue enough knowledge after 50, 60 years to not get scammed, to just be a little suspicious. But when you're young, you got to get scammed when you're young. I remember so many lessons. I remember finding a Game Boy Color when I was a child, and I found it at school. I found it in the trash can, and I was still like a Boy Scout, so I did the Boy Scout the right thing to do, and I went and turned it in because I knew. I don't know why I knew this, but I knew that the school had a policy that if you turned something in lost and found and it wasn't claimed after 30 days, you could have it. And I was like, hey, I'm turning this in. I think it had Zelda, A Link. What's the Game Boy one? Zelda, A Link. It's the one on the island with the egg. A Link to the Past? Is that the name of it? I don't remember. Had that game. And the principal was like, yeah, after 30 days, if no one claims that you can have it, like I said. So day 31, I show up and I'm like, hey, can I have that Game Boy? And he's like, actually, no, it's not yours. I'm like, but that's the rule. And he's like, get out of my office. And I was like, I learned a lesson. I got scammed. Never trust authority. They will always lie to you. Always look out for yourself. I should have kept the Game Boy. And then if someone had reported the Game Boy lost, I could have then looked into my conscience. If you find a big bag of money, absolutely do not return it. Because 9 times out of 10, it's probably some drug dealer or some arms deal gone wrong or someone else. If you then hear a report of some old lady being like, I lost all my money, then you can get a conscience and then turn it in and be like, oh, I found this money. I was holding on to it to see... You don't even need a story. But yeah, you got to look out for yourself. Don't get scammed. Just be smart. But you got to get scammed when you're young to learn these. You got to lose money when you're young. That's just how I feel about that. So, anyways, I have this tiny bag of dirtweed. Also, that homeless guy disappeared so quickly, almost like in a puff of smoke. Might have been a wizard. So I ride back home, take my weed, meet up with my GF that night, and we're like, how do you smoke weed? And I don't know. I think I had to buy like rolling papers. So I roll the worst joint ever. It's your first joint you ever roll, and we go out in the backyard and we start smoking it. And she puffs on it like 2 or 3 times, and she's like, I don't know, I don't like this. I'm like, that's fine. So I smoke the rest of it, and we go back inside and I get like the munchies. I'm eating pizza, and she starts kind of getting handsy, but I'm like, I don't know if I feel all right. Like, I start having like crazy, and again, this is like one of my first times smoking weed, so I don't know what I'm in for. I don't know what it's like getting high. I start getting, my chest is like, I feel, this is the closest I've ever felt to like I was having a heart attack. I was having like a panic attack, like a heart attack. I just felt my heart beating through my chest, and I'm like, I'm really freaking out. And so she went and I started taking a shower, and she was like rubbing my back while I was sitting in the tub, like water was pouring on me. And I was just like, for like 30 minutes, just losing my mind. Not my mind, my body was like freaking out, and she was fine. She didn't smoke as much as me. And after that wave of like anxiety and like thought I was dying washed over, we went to the bedroom and proceeded to have sex for like 4 hours straight. Because I remember looking at the clock and being like, what is we're young. I'm probably just smoked meth or PCP, and I'm on weed. And the awful part about this whole ordeal was because she was dog watching. There's like this big Great Dane that was just watching us. It was in its cage. It was just silently watching. I hated how it didn't even like make noise. And I was like, I don't want to do, but I'm high on meth weed. I don't care. I'm having sex with my hot Christian girlfriend, and she was kind of Hispanic at the time. I don't know, not kind of. She's like a half-seas like me, and she was giving me she was saying, "Ay, papi," and I was just losing my mind. Absolutely. If you have not had meth-fueled trailer park sex, how do you know the sounds coming out of this woman? That was probably my best performance ever. Yeah, if you truly love your woman, here's what I'm thinking you do. The night of your honeymoon, your first night, you make sure you find a homeless person and you get some of that Mexican dirt swag weed that might be laced with meth or PCP, and you smoke a little bit of that right before you need to do your marital duties, before you need to consummate the wedding. And maybe like a little anniversary once a year. Once a year, you should smoke a little meth, have chemsex, and just really, really give it to the love of your life. I recommend. I'm not saying do it every day. That'll kill you. That's the problem. Is you don't want to smoke meth all the time. I think it was meth. That's the problem. I don't know what I smoked. I have to like now smoke meth and PCP to be like, oh, that's what that was. With the weed, that makes sense. But I recommend it. It was an overall good experience. 9 out of 10. I didn't die. Had the best sex of my life. I get why people do it. I get why people get addicted to it. I understand. It makes sense. The sounds coming out of that lady. It was like one of those dirty movies you rent. Or I guess you don't rent movies anymore. Damn. I'm such a boomer. Having to buy weed illegally back in the day, exposing myself by knowing that you used to rent pornos. Different times. Amazing. I wouldn't say I would want to go back. Things are pretty cool now, but in a different, weirder, kind of bad way. You just gotta enjoy how it is, how everything is. Oh, and that's the story of the first time. Yeah, the first time I smoked weed. I think that entire baggie was so small it made one joint. We put all the weed in the one little bad joint and smoked it all. I can't believe homeless people smoke shit like that. That's crazy. Maybe not. I don't know, because maybe like I imagine smoking that and freaking out, but my life is like I have a house, so then being on the street is scary. But if that's every day, that's my new normal. Maybe it's awesome. Maybe I'm like, yes, I get to wander around outside and be all hopped up on meth. This is awesome. Man, this episode is gonna get demonetized. Don't do drugs. Drugs are bad. This is all a joke. This is a dare program. My life is ruined because of it. I My penis fell off after having sex for so long. It ruined my day. Nothing bad came from it, except for me. um, yeah. So, big balls, nice voice. Smoked meth once, and I would again. I was thinking about on your deathbed, like you're gonna die, right? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you try heroin? Why wouldn't you do LSD? Just inject both into my veins. I'm dying. Whatever. Let's make it interesting. Let's do something. Well, what else happened this weekend? That's the problem. I don't have anything to talk about because I was just been sick. I was just laying in my bed, being a little baby, complaining. Ooh, man, roommates getting me sick, coming home, touching things that I'm dead in touch. I've been washing my hands religiously all week. I would feel so guilty if I got any other roommate sick. But I'm a good person. I'm considerate and thoughtful. That's just how I am. Let's see. Who's messaging me? What do you... Oh, breaking news. What's happening? This guy's tweeted, breaking news, my dick and balls have been sentenced to 14 consecutive life sentences. Oh, man, that is breaking. Breaking news alert. I love how Twitter, anything you search for will just be porn. Every It's kind of crazy that you can type in the most innocuous thing, be like, oh, I'm looking up the new Mario game, and someone will have ruined it. I'm like, oh, why did you post that? Oh, I know. Last night, my roommate started watching that new Jennifer Lawrence movie. I don't even know what it's called. I remember seeing trailers for it for like a year ago and being like, ooh, that looks bad. And the premise of the movie is she's 30-ish and some rich to do family hires her, puts a Craigslist out ad and hires her to take their son's virginity so he's not a loser. And the trailer didn't make me laugh, and my roommates are watching it and they're not laughing, and they're like, let's watch it. And I really had to have an internal Mac moment where I'm like, just hold it in. You know this movie's gonna suck. Just don't tell them. They're tired of here. Because I hate how being right all the time. It's not fun being right. I'm a person where like I don't need to watch the intro of this YouTube video. Let's just get to the good part. People are like, no, why do you skip around so much? And they're like, I don't want to watch this movie. It's gonna stink. They're like, you don't know, you haven't seen it. I'm like, I can tell. I've seen enough things. I know enough beats. I know that something is going to be the way it is just from the care they take at the beginning of them, like how they set up this trailer, how like the way they set up this first part. A movie's not going to get good suddenly in the middle. Not anymore. They don't make movies like Dusk Till Dawn anymore. It's just sometimes you see exactly what's happening and it's going to stink all the way through. And I lasted like 15 minutes in and I was just like, I'm not even going to say that this movie's bad because they'll be butthurt. They're like, oh, you don't even. I'm just going to be like, I'm just going to get up and I'm going to leave because I'm a mature adult. And they're also adults, and they can choose to watch this movie that stinks. Yeah, but it was like, that's the thing. If it wasn't billed as a comedy, but it was billed as a comedy. Let's see, what's it called? Man, she's so sexy. No Hard Feelings is the name of the movie. Yeah, it got like, I was like 15, 20 minutes into it. I'm like, I haven't laughed once. I'm out. And I just got up and left and didn't watch it. And I did something more fun. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't. It was in my room. I think I was just watching TikToks or something. And normally when I'm in my room, because it's right next to the living room, I'm just always pissed off because I can hear people having fun in the living room without me. But it was just silent. They were just watching a comedy movie, and neither of them were laughing. And they finished watching the movie, and they went upstairs, and there was no laughter. And I'm just like, how do you do? Why don't? I'm really thinking about it. Like, I waste a lot of time like looking at stuff online or sleeping or just playing video games. But that's like me wasting my time. When you're watching a movie that's bad, that's almost like the movie is wasting your time. You could be doing something else. You could be wasting your time on your time. I don't want a movie to be wasting my time. I can't be doing anything else on that time. And I've walked out of movies. I've gotten up and just walked out of movies in theaters before. I remember walking out of Hancock, that Will Smith movie. I went and saw it with a bunch of friends, and it was so stupid, and I hated it so much in the first 15 minutes. I remember right when there's a scene at the beginning of the movie. I haven't seen the whole movie. I've only seen up to the scene where Hancock, Will Smith, punches a French kid like 1,000 feet in the air, and then the kid falls down and isn't injured or whatever. And I'm like, this is awful. I hate this movie. I'm done. And I went into the lobby and I played Mrs. Pac-Man for like an hour and a half. I paid like $15 and just kept playing Mrs. Pac-Man and had a lot of fun. And my friends came out and they're like, why did you leave? You just wasted all that money. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I didn't want to watch the movie. I paid for the ticket. Whatever. I made a mistake. Boo-hoo. There's $15. I didn't. I then went and had fun. I went and had fun and waited for my friends. And it shouldn't be a bummer to other people that I'm like, hey, sometimes I can't have fun the way you can have fun. And it isn't. What does it say about you if it makes you insecure that I'm not having fun in the way you're having fun? Because I'm secure with what I have. I'm like, I'm having fun this way. I'm going to go over here and have fun my way. You enjoy having fun your way, but I'm going to have fun my way. But don't come over here and be like, why'd you leave? Blah, blah. Also, my roommates last night, they didn't ask. They respected because they were adults. We understand. I don't respect them for sitting through the whole movie, though. Awful. Stinks. I didn't hear anyone laughing. So, my recommendation to you is to value your time more. If you don't like something, leave. If you are not enjoying a movie and you're 30 minutes into it and there's another hour and a half, be like, you know what? I'm out of here. Let's go get food. Like, me personally, I'm going to go read a newspaper. I'm going to go waste time on TikTok. I'm going to go enjoy my time. I don't know why you would put yourself through something. My buddy Kevin made it like, he made a good point. He's like, because I think a lot of people, when they read books, they get stuck reading a book, which I used to do. I would read a book and then I would get stuck reading the book because it was boring. It was a bad book. And then I wouldn't read it. And then I wouldn't read another book because I haven't finished this book. And he's like, you can just not finish a book if it stinks. And I was like, you can. If you don't like a book, you can stop reading it and put it that if you don't like a show, if you don't like a movie, if you don't like a video game, if you don't like a relationship, if you don't like a job, if you don't like pets and children are different. You're kind of responsible to see those through. But everything else in your life, you should respect yourself enough. If you don't like this podcast right now, I don't know why. I mean, we're 45 minutes in. You only got another 15 minutes. That's the sunken cost fallacy right now. You might as well listen to the next 15 minutes since you've already. If you didn't like this podcast in the first 5-10 minutes, that's when you should have gone out. Now you're too deep in. Now that's on you, not on me. I don't know why you're still here, but you better keep staying. You better listen, because what if I reveal some smarter things later? I won't, but you're here, whatever. Yeah, you should know yourself enough as an adult to not get scammed anymore and to know when someone is scamming your time. When something is not worth it, and I hate how people, I don't know, I just see a lot of people being like, I hate when people are like, you don't know. I'm like, I do know. I know myself enough. I know when I look at a painting that painting stinks and I don't like it, and I'm going to move on to a painting where I will like it. God damn, there's a fly in the house. I feel it's not my fault. My windows are closed, but I feel, am I normal if I feel like I'm embarrassed when there's a fly? I'm like, I'm not like that. I keep my windows closed. My part of the house is clean. It keeps distracting. It keeps flying in here. I'm about to lose my mind. I'm about to do that one episode of Breaking Bad. What was I thinking about? I don't even remember now. Completely lost my train of thought. I hate flies so much. And you get that bug assault gun. Shoot little salt pellets at. Where was I going with that? No idea. No idea at all. Well, let's see. Anyone message me on something cool? Anyone send any emails? Do we get any? I haven't checked the podcast emails in a bit. Nope. No one's emailed us. I did take our podcast email off of the website because I was getting too many like weird spammy emails, not enough normal people emails. Let's check the Cowboy Boys Instagram profile for any DMs or any messages, which you should be following. You should follow Cowboy Boys on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You should be, if you liked this episode so far, if you liked my ramblings and you wanted to hear the same ramblings, but with a snotty, you want to hear me blow my nose 25 times on the last Patreon episode, go to cowboyboys.rodeo, and there is a link to patreon.com/cowboyboys, where for $5 you can get 5 episodes a month. And I personally see to it that we do not miss those episodes. For $1, this podcast is worth $1, right? $1 whole this episode. Well, this episode's free. This is worth free, right? If you paid $0.00 for this, that's worth your time, right? Now I'm doing the math in my head. This doesn't seem worth my time. What the hell? You should be paying me for this. Oh, man, I'm getting ripped off. I'm so hungry right now. I could be making myself a burrito, but I'm giving this away for free. What the hell? But the Patreon episodes, those cost $1. Man, if you really break it down, you're getting a lot for only $5. I'm gonna kill myself and this fly. Oh my god. Yes, thank you for everyone who does support the podcast. Speaking of podcast, how many episodes can my co-host miss before I just take all the money? where I'm just like, hey, I'm taking all the money this month. I'm taking all of it, every last dollar. That's me. I'm buying myself a new computer. I'm gonna buy myself a real doll. Buy myself a real doll and sit it next to me so I can have a co-host. The podcast can be back to normal. Um, that would be nice. I think that would be really nice for me. I think I deserve it. I think Christmas is coming up. I think a nice, realistic real doll would really warm my spirits. I could smoke meth and then show that real doll my moves for about 4 hours. Maybe. I think I've still got it in me, especially if I'm chemmed up. Also, if you like this podcast, you can go to cowboyboys.store, www.cowboyboys.store, and you could buy t-shirts, hats, the hat I'm wearing right now. We introduce new shirts every couple of months, every now and then, and I like them. I like the shirts I wear, shirts I design to be, they're not like inside jokes, they're nice, they're shirts with fun design, not fun, interesting. Some of them are, I wouldn't say they're kind of funny, they're kind of, some of them say some crazy stuff, which you'll see when you get there. Go check it out. Go peruse. And yeah, if you buy a shirt, thank you so much. If you support the Patreon, thank you so much. I get to wander around and see people shoot heroin in the middle of the day because of you guys. I get to see the wonders of what's happening. I get to report back to you. You guys, for less than a cup of coffee a day, that's the going rate that people, I got to come up with something better. For the price of a Subway sandwich in the early 2000s, not anymore. For what's $5 these days? What's a $5 for the price of, for the price of 2 Red Bulls or 2 Rock Stars? I guess it depends on the gas station you go to, right? Dude, when you see the Rock Stars at your local gas station and they're $2 Rock Stars for $4, oh my God, is there anything better than that? That's the deal of the century. Damn. 2 Rock Stars for $4. How long does a Rock Star make you feel good for? A couple hours? Let's say 5 hours each, right? For the sake of my ad I'm selling you right now. That's 2 Rock Stars. They make you feel good for 5 hours each. That's 10 hours. Oh, what's that equal to? Exactly. 10 hours of content, minimum a month of Cowboy Boys podcast. And we're giving you the first rock star for free because that's how confident we are. I guess it's $4, $5, whatever. You get it. You get my analogy. Man, I wish I had a rock star right now. I hate the East Coast. There's no rock stars out here. It's all monsters. And monsters are all right. The white monsters are decent. But again, I'm just a classic head. I like sugar-free Red Bull and those old Rockstar, the original flavor. The problem with white monsters is it's not caustic enough. It doesn't taste like poison acid. It doesn't taste too. I like the chemicals. I need it to taste like it's eating through my teeth. I think, me personally, I need to know it's working. What have I been taking recently? My pre-workout at my gym. There's really been, ooh, all right. See, everyone who dipped out because they're like, I don't want to listen to the last 15 minutes, they're going to miss out on what I've been taking at the gym that is phenomenal. So, and this is like, it's helping my lifts. I'm just feeling amazing every time I do this little routine. I get a tall sugar-free Red Bull, number one, because it has the niacin in it. That helps you sweat. I take that with 2 ibuprofen because in the morning I'm like, I'm not stretching. I'll just take 2 ibuprofen and I'll limber up while I start. I'll slowly work. I'm not insane. I don't just start deadlifting first. I do like a little mini deadlift and then I like to warm up on the elliptical 15 minutes ahead. But I walk to the gym. I'm drinking my Red Bull. I take my 2 ibuprofen and then I take half of a Cialis. I think it's Cialis. It's the blue chew, but I take like a quarter or a half. And for anyone who doesn't know, because I'm not using them to get boners, I'm using them for the blood circulation. They get your blood circulating, and that's what bodybuilders use, and it works. You'll get a crazy pump. You will get. I'm not taking a full pill. I don't want to walk around hard at the gym. I just take a quarter of a third, a quarter of one of these blue pills, and it helps you with your cardio, with your lifts. It just gives you that little extra boost. I don't know if ladies can take it. Do your own research, ladies. That'd be sick. Ladies taking boner pills, getting a sick pump at the gym. But yeah, if you're just having one of those days, I usually take it because most days I'll be like, fine, I'll just do the Red Bull. But if there's like a day where I wake up and I'm like, I just need that extra juice. I need that extra get up and go. Caffeine alone isn't gonna. Take a little pre pump workout, and let me know how your lifts are going. I bet it helps. I bet it's awesome. I think bodybuilders take it for recovery too. So I don't know if you're supposed to take it before or after. Do your own research. I'm only giving you general knowledge. I don't have the time to give you every fact, every scientific paper, every research. I'm just here to be like, hey, did you hear about this? Look into it. And then I plant that little seed of knowledge in your brain. And then next time you're like, oh, I have a problem. Wait a minute. I think Max said something about this. And if I've improved your life at all, you should subscribe to the Patreon. You should already be a member, and you should. That's where I dish out the real secrets in my real stack. So yeah, that's something I've been thinking about. I think that's the podcast. I hope you had fun. I hope you laughed. I hope your brain got bigger. I hope other parts of your body got bigger, engorged and swollen. I hope they continue to do so. I hope if my voice turns you on, please let me know. If you let me know, maybe you can see how big my balls are. Everyone who listens to the podcast while working out, you're insane. Thanks for everyone who listens to the podcast wherever you are. If you fall asleep to the podcast, that's crazy. Yeah, shout out to all of you. I thank you so much. Couldn't do it without you. Love you. And have a great day. Yeehaw.